Hello again, it's Brian Malow, live from Lindau, Germany, the site of the 74th annual Lindau Nobel Laureate Meeting. This year is a chemistry meeting, and we have about 30 Nobel laureates and more than 600 young scientists, one of whom is joining me right now, Swathi Naidu.
That's perfect, yeah.
And you're actually a material scientist,
That's
you said,
correct,
right? And
yeah.
you're from India, but you are working here in
Absolutely.
Germany, right?
Definitely,
Where,
yeah.
where are you in Germany?
In a place called Siegen, so I usually say if you know Cologne, then you might have crossed Siegen to get there.
What institute?
So it's at the University of Siegen at the Chemistry and Structure of Novel Materials, where we're a chemistry group that does a lot of material science.
Excellent. And you said, are you a postdoc?
I am.
Yeah, so tell me, what do you study exactly? What's the nature of your research?
Well, I like to call myself a molecular bully, which means I force metal sheets to turn into nanostructures under like some kind of potential bias. So I make a lot of these nanostructures and then I eventually make them into implant materials. That's essentially what I do.
Help me understand why. Like, what do
Well,
you do? Like, what does that mean exactly to
Yeah.
the lowly non-scientist that I am?
For sure, for sure. I mean, inside the body, we look good like this, right? But on the inside, there's like tiny channels of everything. So when you create structure on a material, you sort of mimic the matrix of the body. And this allows the body to go like, hey, you're not a foreign object. Perhaps it's easy to integrate. And so I create texture on materials so then, it's easier to integrate both from a biological point of view and also for mechanical fixation. So no glues needed. I can adapt my implant right to the bone because it's rough.
Excellent. And have you always known you wanted to be a scientist or a material scientist? Did you ever have any other sort of career ambitions? Entirely different, maybe?
No, honestly, ever since I was young, I wanted to be a scientist. It's crazy because my parents are like, huh. So at 5, I was already like, yeah, I want to be a scientist. I didn't know what it meant. I just liked opening things and then putting them back together. And I was like, that was fun. So yeah, in that regard. My friends do say that I could be a therapist. So yeah, I'm in good listening ear.
So you like your job? You like your work?
I love it.
What do you like about it?
I like the fact that I get to create things, to contribute in a tangible way. Yeah.
Excellent. And is there anything you wish more people understood about science?
Absolutely. Science is not about formulas. It's not about reading books. It's not about going to school to do science. Science is a way of thinking, and it doesn't require anything. If you're at home and you like ketchup, and you're trying to squeeze your ketchup out and it doesn't come out, and when you hit it like that, that is science right there. You don't have to read it. You know it intuitively. Just accept it.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So here we are at the Lindau Nobel Laureate Meeting, and do you know, how long ago did you find out that you were accepted? Because the young scientists go through quite a process that involves nominating organizations, and it's, even though 600 attendees sounds like a lot, they come from more than 80 countries, and it's a very selective process. So
absolutely.
So you've known for months that you were going to be coming here, right?
We get the results somewhere mid of March. So we apply the previous year somewhere around November, and that takes almost 6 months before you can get to the final day. So it's quite a long process.
And before you got here, it's very early in the meeting now. The opening ceremony was yesterday, and today's the first full day of programming.
Yeah.
Before you even got here, did you have some expectations, anticipations?
Yeah, I mean, like everybody else, it's great to see the Nobel laureates in the flesh because, you just hope that you will gain brilliance by proximity. So that's literally what I was doing here.
How's that working out so far?
Hey, I'm right next to this guy, and he's great. So I hope some of that rubs off already. Well, it's a good start.
I'm sorry if it does.
No, you're lovely.
So are there any Nobel laureates that you were particularly interested in meeting? Maybe because their work relevance to yours?
That's true. I mean, it's mean to say that, hey, I have a favorite, but I had like 2 top favorites, okay? It was Peter Agger, because he's a beautiful science communication person, and there's Frances Arnold, who's literally every woman in STEM, So it was both of them. I wasn't lucky enough to get lunch with Arnold, but I did get science walk with Peter Agger, so I'm looking forward to that.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I want to ask you about your impressions of the meeting so far, even though it just started. But yesterday, you had a really big day. You were part of the opening ceremony program.
It's true.
You were one of the co-hosts, along with Adam Smith,
from
the Nobel organization. Yeah, he's been working with the meeting for years, and he's fantastic. And you did a wonderful job, I got to say.
Thank you.
You did a great job.
Very kind of
What
you.
was that like for you?
I mean, it's exhilarating to do something with legends, right? You're sort of walking in their shadows, but there was enough room to sort of be myself, which I liked, and I think everybody received seeing somebody just like them on stage. So I was allowed to be goofy, I was allowed to be serious. It's like, a bit like what Francis Arnold says: women should be taken seriously in science, but not taken too seriously by themselves. So it's a bit like that.
Excellent. Yeah, she is amazing. I saw her speak last year as well, and the impression I came away with is like, wow, her talk was interesting and understandable to the non-scientist,
Absolutely.
but it was also directed to a room of extraordinary young scientists, and so I think it was relevant to them and relevant to me.
Yeah, that's
and
absolutely.
that's not an easy task. That's an
It's
amazing
true. And
communicator.
that's the whole point of science, right? It's not to make things alien, it's to make things something that's tangible for everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, and Peter is also
Oh,
fantastic.
he's grand. Absolutely.
So there are some themes at the meeting
Mm-hmm.
this year about AI and as a tool in
Right.
chemistry. And before we started this recording, I asked you about some of these themes, and one that I don't really know that much about, and I think a lot of non-chemists might not understand this term about circular chemistry.
Right.
What does this mean?
I mean, in principle, something that's a circle is like what goes around comes about, right? So we're trying to look at chemistry from the conception of it to the invention parts of it, where if you begin something in a lab, make sure it can go back to the lab. But here we're looking at sustainability also. So from a material standpoint, from a process standpoint. So, don't just make fancy paper, maybe plant a tree while you're trying to make new kind of paper. Yeah,
Okay,
a bit
so
like
it's
that.
about like less wasteful and making
Absolutely.
use of
Yeah,
all
it's
than trying to reuse
reuse,
products.
repurpose, absolutely. Upcycling, upscaling, all of those things. And hopefully biodegradable things.
Yeah. What about, we talked a little bit about how science is so international, like
Yeah.
often throughout history, and especially at this moment in history, things can be very divisive politically, but science depends on and thrives on international cooperation.
Yeah.
Do you have anything to say about that?
Absolutely. I mean, science is dialogue, right? And dialogue leads to discourse, which is what we need in a world that is always changing. The earth is for all of us, whether you're American, whether you're Indian, whether you're German, it doesn't matter, because we're going to be using everything from the earth, which is all for all of us. We better talk, we better discuss how we share those things, and let's give back.
Excellent. So, to any young scientists that might be future attendees here, do you have anything? I know it's early in the meeting, but
know.
anything that you have to say about the application process or about
Absolutely.
the meeting so far?
Yeah. So I was nominated twice, and this is the year that I've sort of gotten in. And the reason I bring that up is not because I don't want to say that, hey, you can fail, because it's completely okay to do that. But be yourself. I think the difference between why I was in this time and then not when I was, let's say, a lot younger is probably because I'm more self-assured now in the science, in the person who I am, in what I want to do with my science. So just be honest and have a vision for yourself.
Excellent. Well, thanks for taking the time. The schedule here is pretty insane,
Crazy, yeah.
and at every moment, like you could be missing something else. So thank you for taking the time to talk
Thank
to
you,
me.
Brian. Thank you so much. This has been great. Thank you.
Yes, and Swathi is one of the 600 plus young scientists here. We'll be hearing
True.
from some more of them soon. Thanks for checking it out.
Cheers. Thank you, Brian.